So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another joint review of the Chill Dude on a Couch. And today I'm joined by Señorita Sabrosura.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Everything good over here.
Good, good. So, yeah, bear with me. I'm a little bit sick, but we would not skip. We're going to talk about a band that is very much, you would say, a hot topic band.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, so the band that we're going to talk about, they're from Canada, and they've been around now 25 years, believe it or not. But I discovered them like in the 2010s, and it's the Birthday Massacre. And this is their new album that just dropped last Friday, and it's called Pathways, and it's 8 tracks and 35 minutes in length. So yeah, so Yanita, what do you think of this artwork?
Oh, it's very Birthday Massacre. Very with the colors and everything. You remind me of those previous albums.
Yeah, I think they always have purples in their album.
Yeah, like purples, a little pink, but they always have like some shade of purple. I like it. It's very like you see them and you know it's them.
Yeah. You know, when I was looking for the artwork, Facebook asked me if I was okay. I'm like, yeah, okay. I just want to see the artwork. So yeah, this is I think it's album. I didn't write it down, but I think they have a lot of albums at this point.
I think like 10.
I think like 10 or 11. I'm
10
not
or
sure.
11. I'm not sure if this number 10 or number 11, but yeah.
So yeah, this is the new album, and the last one I actually reviewed on the channel because it came out a few months before my channel was any, and I remember I reviewed at that time, and I said something about Chibi's voice that there wasn't enough screaming on that one, but then I learned because someone also like I think she had vocal trouble, so she had an operation, and I
Okay.
why she doesn't do much of like the more sinister stuff. But
Mm,
on this album, there's a little bit of that
yeah.
sprinkled here and there. So yeah, so we'll talk about our first impressions listening to this, and we'll talk tracks, and then we'll rate it. So, Señorita, your first impressions listening to this Birthday
Yeah.
Massacre.
To be honest, I lost track of this band after like 2012 when I left Hot Topic. I think their first album came in 2005 and another one in 2007. I think their best work. Uh, uh, and that's when I started working at Hot Topic. But when you told me like there's a new album, I listened to it and I was pretty pleasantly surprised with this record. I don't know if you will call it a return to form, but I like it that it has more guitar driven songs. I love like you said like I miss those screams and the harsher vocals, so I like those vocals with the mix with the melodies. So I enjoy it. I think it's a pretty enjoyable album.
Yeah. So for me, the first time I listened to it was with 2010s or was it 11? I can Pizza and Needles. That was the first album that I listened to them. At
Yeah.
that time, I was doing the RC21 rock show, and I
Mhm.
discovered a video for them, like In the Dark. That was the song that I first listened.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, this is interesting. And then I went back to their album. I think it's called Violet or something
Violet, yeah.
blue, and has the song about like love or suffocate. And I remember the first thing that drew me to this band is like they sound sweet, but they're singing about some effed up stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I kept on listening to them, but their last albums, I wouldn't say they were bad, but they were missing some of that earlier like aggression from their earlier records, and some like not as much guitar. So this one, I wouldn't say it's like a return to form, but I think it's their best album in a few years. If
Mm,
I'm being honest, and there's some tracks here that harken to that old school Birthday Massacre. Uh,
exactly.
I got excited when I listened to the first. two singles, All of You, and especially Sleep Tonight, which opens the album. I
Yeah.
thought that one had some classic Birthday Massacre vibes to it. So yeah, those were the first impressions. So let's talk tracks from this album, Senorita. There's only 8 tracks, so
Yeah. Well, I really like Whisper. I like that it's like it has like a sing along chorus, but it's also like a dance floor ready song. It remind me of those gothic Hot Topic years, like going and listening uh to Birthday Massacre on the dance floor of a gothic night. I like that it's dark, and I love the mix and the unclean harsh vocals in this song. I also like Faces because this one is like more dreamy, but it also has those harsh songs. And the other one I really enjoy, it's Wish, because it sounds very 80s electro pop, and it's more pop than dark, but I enjoy it.
this is my notes. It says more 80s vibes.
Yes. And like you said, the two singles are really great. Those are my top three that I told you. But the two singles are great. I thought that they were two great openers. And like you said, it's very reminiscent of their early work. But I think one thing that they benefit with the years is the songwriting. The lyrics are even better now.
Yeah, they're grown up.
Yes.
So yeah, I actually wrote things for every track. Obviously, Sleep Tonight and All of You are great singles, and I like it that they start the record because then the last round I'll give like maybe what I thought were like weaker points. And I like the Sleep Tonight is a great single. I could hear it like that being like a classic Birthday Massacre song. Whisper is great because that's my
That
favorite.
was my favorite. Yeah,
That's
that
the
was my
track.
favorite.
It has more sinister vocals by Shini, which I missed because I remember when I was getting to the band, those sinister vibes that they have, I really enjoyed, and I thought they gave the band like an identity. Like you listen
Yeah,
to it,
they
yeah,
sep- they put them apart with those vocals.
yeah. And Shini, her dreamy vocals are on point on this record. I like that this album, it's there's more guitars on this record.
Yeah.
For example, a song that I think has a sweet vocal melody by Shini is Pathways. This one's more electronic synth goth vibes to it, but it's a pretty change of pace. And I also like Wish because it has more 80s vibes. And uh, Faces has a cool guitar part.
Oh,
There's a,
you're right. Yeah.
there's a cool guitar part on that song, which I think it was something that they were missing in their last albums. Like the guitar, they like not to say that they're like a super shreddy guitar band, but I like the scenes and that stuff. But I like it when they mix it with guitars as well. It gives it a more sinister vibe, like I said. So yeah, those are the tracks that I think I like the most. So, Senorita, and what didn't you like? What you were done different? And you're like from a 1 to 5, your vote and final thoughts.
Well, if I don't, there's nothing like I could say I didn't like. I really enjoy it, and I revisited older albums, and like the previous album, it for me it sounded like more poppy, more clean with and this I like that it has, like you said, it's more guitar driven, more guitars, more hard riffs. It's a little bit more, I wouldn't say a lot, but it's a little bit more rock and metal. But it also has those melodies, like the melodic voices, the synth pops. Uh, and when it sounds like with melodic and everything, it sounds like very lush and layered, very polished. And I know some people criticize that, but I enjoy that at least in this record. And I like they're mixing like pop, but not super pop, and with the gothic and the, like you said, sinister sound. I enjoyed the flow and the order of the song. I really appreciated how they did it because I didn't get bored. Like maybe in previous albums, I could get bored. Like, this is more of the same.
Yeah, you know what I think with the Birthday Massacre? They benefit when their albums are shorter.
Yeah, I think this album was a great length. Like you said, 35 minutes. I think that's a great length for them. And overall, it's an enjoyable record. I think it could be a grower. I'm not sure. You said 1 to 5. I think I will give it a 3.5.
Nice. So yeah, so my thoughts is like, yeah, I think the Birthday Massacre is better when it's shorter albums because even though I enjoy them, I think they're not the type of band for long records.
Yeah, correct.
My nitpick with the Birthday Massacre always has been sometimes they can get a little bit repetitive.
Yeah.
So you hear a sound, and I'm like, yeah, I thought I heard that sound 2 songs ago. For example, on this one, on this album, I think the Vanishing Game and Cruel Love have some similarities to them.
Now
Maybe
that you mentioned, yeah.
I like Cruel Love better. That's the album closer. That one's like very sing, more softer vocals, more heavy. But the Vanishing Game is the first song, and after two great singles, the Vanishing Game was like a little dip.
Yeah, I would have put maybe Whisper after the two singles.
Yeah. So the Vanishing Game was my least favorite song of the record. But I'm not to say that it's a bad song.
No, it's not a bad song.
Yeah. And obviously, I like when she does the sinister vocals, but obviously we know she had an operation, so it's not something like she does as much as in her first album, even though she always did the clean vocals and the
Yeah.
stuff. But I think I liked it here because I'm like, I kind of, I like, because that was my gripe with the last album. It sounded every song sounded very similar. So there's some subtle variations that make the album better. Is it reinventing the wheel? No. And obviously, I don't think it's better than their heyday records, but come on, they were younger, maybe more ferocious. But I do think, like you said, I agree. There's good songwriting here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know how to write a catchy song with good hooks, and they do a good mix of like using pop elements without being as poppy because their last record, I think they were too pop.
Two pop. Yeah. This has the perfect balance.
Yeah, it had the perfect balance because to me the Birthday Massacre is that balance of sweetness with evil. Hence the name Birthday Massacre. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, if I have to rate it, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's not gonna be my top 5 albums of the year,
No.
but I think it's a solid album, and I also rated a 3.5 out of 5. And I think that for a band that's been around for 25 years, I think they still sound like eager to prove themselves because even though they have a following, they've always been kind of underground band.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if what I would say to you, if you never liked the Birthday Massacre, I don't think you're gonna enjoy them now. But if you were a fan of their music or at some point stop listening to them, I would say this is a good starting point to get back into them.
Yeah. Like me. That happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah, like I kept listening to them, but I haven't listened. I think like their earlier albums are the ones that I like more. But I think this is a very good album, and like you said, it may be a grower.
Yeah.
But I think a 3.5 out of 5 from both of us is a fair score nonetheless. So, yeah, we want to know from you, Couchers, what do you think of the Birthday Massacre and the album Pathways? What would you rate it? Comment down below. And coming up next for Señorita Sabrosura and me, next week we're going to review the new Super Heaven album. which is
Yes.
called Super Helen. So yeah, that should be an interesting one. I'd love. Did you listen to the singles?
Yes, I did. I enjoy them.
They're really good.
They're
I'm
really good.
I'm really pumped for that album. So
Yeah,
yeah.
me too.
So what, Señorita? What have you coming up next on your channel?
Well, right now we're taking a break. We were supposed to have the new Mars Volta review, but we couldn't do it, and we're taking a break. But right now what I have is just my website sabrosuracreativa.com. I have a spring sale, 30% off and every purchase with the code SPRING.
Nice. And obviously, you do some reviews on my in the so cultures. Comment down below what you think of the Birthday Massacre, and also this week there's some killer interviews on the channel.
Yeah.
The Rivers of Nile interview is already up, so if you haven't seen that one, that one's up. And this week, I have a few more interviews coming up, and I'm going. This is Holy Week, so I'm going to review a death metal album,
Of course.
of course. And on 420, the new Is It That Bad for Hollywood on there.
Oh, wow.
Easter and marijuana combined. So yeah. So señorita, thank you, again for taking some time to
Of
listen.
course. Thank you for inviting me. So
Yeah,
so many albums, so many things. Well, I'm glad we did this review, that you put this band back on my radar.
yeah. Just to so you can relive those hot topic years.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah. So until next time, couchers, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on the couch,
Señorita Sabrosura.
and we'll see you next week for another joint album review. Thank you and goodbye.